Right. So you, what I found growing up where I'm from, I'm from here in Buffalo, but I grew up in Central Park for a long time, and it's a lot of intelligent cats in the hood. I feel like what happens is you just don't know what to do with the energy to direct it in the right place.
Hmm.
But something was different about you apparently. You figured if I could take this same energy and just put it here, I could do something. Or did you think something else?
Right. I mean, I think what it was at first was, I just kind of liked the energy that came from those events. Like, so I would show up at the battle at first just because that's where everybody was going. But then later on, I wanted to kind of not just be somebody watching, I wanted to be somebody performing and you had to earn that spot. And back then, my dude Ralph Prater, who got me into hip hop, like he used to take me down to this club in Lexington called Yats, and we would battle every like Wednesday and Sunday, and there would be a whole group of people in there, like packed room full of people that just were battling. They were in there just to like take each other's head off, and
That's
and,
good old fashioned battling, man. I don't
right,
know what's going on today, man. I don't know. I remember a time, even when you watch old Smack DVDs, like they were on the corner in New York City and they were freestyling. They didn't write that. They were like off the dome.
oh yeah, you couldn't even get away with like,
No, people already know what you want to say. They
yeah,
know.
and they call you out too. And
Yeah.
then once that happened too, like you're not getting back on that stage,
Nah, that ain't your career. That ain't your career.
right?
So, but see now, I'm sure that poured into your creative aspect too, because you're not letting yourself off the hook with doodle rhymes.
Oh
You're just
no,
not. No matter what it is, you know what
yeah.
I'm saying. So you set a standard for yourself, but now that same standard for yourself, artistically, I'm sure poured into the business too. What was the thing? What was the moment in time that made you say, "I need to take my art and turn it into a business"? What was that pivotal point?
Um, I think that happened probably. That was after I moved to Buffalo, because previously, before, like I was just kind of I was in a group and I was messing with hip hop and I loved the culture and everything. But then I was in a street fight and I have two metal plates in my face, so I had my jaw broken in two places, right? And then so I didn't do hip hop for like 7 years. It wasn't until later that I mentioned Ralph earlier or whatever. Ralph committed suicide in like 2011. So that is what kind of sparked me to come back and make music again. Once I started making music, um, I knew I couldn't do it halfway. Like it's impossible for me to like just kind of make it and leave it there. So as I started getting into it more and started writing more songs, and the songs were coming from the right place, um, it was imperative that I figure out a way that to monetize what I was doing too, and to make it worth my while and not make it like a burden that's off to the side, like so.
And I want to touch on that because I feel like, well, what I've noticed even for myself or for other people, it can feel like a financial burden when you're trying to invest and do these different things like that. So, what business information did you learn early on that you applied to music that say, okay, I could take this and do this and make this and it can become profitable? So, what piece of information, or book or literature or whatever?
Well, I guess it first started with me kind of working with my producer Willie Breeden. He's from Nashville, Tennessee, and Willie had originally lived with me before, when we were talking about Nashville, and he's been my producer for a long time. But Willie had stuck with music for so long, like he knew exactly how to kind of protect me. So through Willie, I got invited to CSAC, which is a pro performance rights organization. So everything that I was making was protected, and also when we registered the songs, I was getting money from that. So I was already drawing checks from anywhere that the song would get played from. Um, Next, I suppose what I started doing is performing out live. And at first it was just me and a computer going wherever people would listen to me. And then once I was able to kind of build something that was substantial, a crowd of some sort, people that wanted to come see me, then then I was able to start making money off of it, which,
Okay.
which allowed me to say, oh, take a friend and be like, hey, watch the door. I'll give you this much money to watch the door.
Mm.
Or, once I saw that people were listening to the music, I started building the brand, which is something altogether different. Like I made sure I had a logo. I made sure I had merch. I made sure that if I performed and a venue wasn't paying me correctly, that um, it was on me. But if I could get a crowd of people to like what I do, I could still come out of there paid if I had that merch table.
Mm.
So sometimes I would do a free show. I could do a show that was like for a good cause, for charity or something like that. But after the show, people want to buy T-shirts. You sell 10 T-shirts, make $150 to $200, and it's worth your time.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, the gentleman that you were saying that you were working with, who introduced you to the Performance Rights Organization, would you say he was like a mentor for you in getting into the business side of things?
I don't really know. I think he knew more at that time about what we needed to do, um, because he was also engaged in the songwriting aspect of it. So he was doing the producing. So that means he was getting half of the cut, on each song that we were making. So it was to his advantage as well to kind of say, hey, I'm on CSAC, you should also be on CSAC. And CSAC's originally like a European performance rights organization. Most people are ASCAP or BMI, but CSAC is important because it's invite only, and they do a lot more for the artists. Like I can, every performance that I do, I log that performance in, and I get paid a certain amount on it. And they treat me really well. I have an agent that follows me and that I communicate with, UT Brown. So it's not like I'm just messing with some corporate conglomerate somewhere and that they never really answer me or anything. So it's more of a personal relationship.
So you would definitely say that the business end of things on that aspect is super important to make sure you have tied in.
Oh yeah. No, you have to protect your royalties, your publishing, your licensing. All of that stuff is super important to you growing as an artist. Because if you don't gather resources, or if your resources aren't accumulating over time, then it's going to be hard for you to keep doing this as much as you love it or as much as it is your passion. Mm-hmm. You have to continue to, be able to invest and build on things. And a lot of times it's not what people think it is when they see people blow up. Like they see the result of something that took years and years and years and years of work to get to. So, most people, they see that snapshot and they want to stick with that snapshot because it's more of like the Cinderella story, But on the real end of it, there's tons and tons of, work that's behind all of that stuff. Times where you're in the red, where you don't know if you are going to be able to see this through, or keep making this happen. And, you just find a way, and you have to.